Family, greetings. 1 second, gotta get this thing working. Roundup family, greetings. This is Chris Haskins with the realestateroundup.com. You know, my mission and ministry is to raise your financial literacy, Roundup family. Good gracious. In doing that, I'm able to meet people throughout my industry. And a few weeks back, I was able to meet Mike. And we were talking. I'm looking over, I'm checking him out. So finally, we got Mike Banks is here with us today. Mike with Fund and Grow. How you doing, my friend?
Doing great. Thank you so much for having me, Chris. Really excited to share this info with your group.
Yeah, this is cool. So Roundup family, today we're going to be talking about business lines of credit. Mike is going to break it all down. And at the end of our presentation today, we will have Q&A. Mike, would you mind answering some questions for people that don't quite get everything today?
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. So Mike, very quickly, my friend, how does this work? Tell us how business credit works. How does this thing work?
So business credit is basically business credit cards that do not show up on your personal credit report. If you apply the right way, if you use your tax ID, it will report to the tax ID. So that means these business credit lines don't show up on your personal credit report. Okay. So just a little more background. Fund and Grow is a service provider. And what we do is we originate business credit lines for real estate investors, business owners, truck drivers, really anyone who's looking for funding. Primarily real estate investors are the most common clients that we have. And so we do all of that work. We're a done for you service. And we do all of that work of setting up business credit lines. And a lot of our clients use them to buy houses, marketing dollars, et cetera.
Nice. So could you walk us through the process of possibly setting up business credit cards and LLC, how that works?
Yeah, definitely. And the cool thing is, for a lot of the newbies on the call, maybe you just did one deal so far or whatever, you don't need an LLC established. You don't need to have an entity set up right now, because our program includes the setup of an entity. So if you don't have one now, it doesn't matter. The way it works is we submit the applications, and then we are communicating through the relationships that we've got with each lender. So we do about 10 to 15 million every month. We originate and establish $10 to $15 million in business credit lines every month. And so we have a lot of volume going through the banks. We're able to get a lot more of a response when we contact the decision maker versus the average person doing it on their own. So we submit the applications, we speak with our contacts at each bank, we make sure each application is reviewed by a human being, which really, really impacts the amount of funding we get for our clients. It goes from being a $5,000 to $10,000 credit limit to a $25,000, $50,000 credit limit after we do that process of putting each application into review, making sure that you get the largest limit possible. So that's kind of how it works. In a quick summary, you sign up with Fund and Grow. You'll be able to go to the link and pre-qualify, or if you're looking to do this on your own, you can do that. So the way to do it is to submit your applications. Just make sure that you do use a tax ID so that the business credit reports to your business, not to your personal credit profile. So that's kind of business credit in a nutshell. It also comes with zero interest for an average of 12 months. So one big benefit is it doesn't show up on your personal credit report. The other big benefit, zero interest for an average of 12 months.
Zero interest for 12 months.
Yeah,
we'll get to that. I want to get to that in a minute. Good gracious.
There's a lot more too. I can go on and on about the rewards points that you earn, the free travel, the fact that you can send a wire transfer from the credit line to the closing company so that you can close on a cash deal, on an off-market deal as a cash buyer. I've had tons of clients do that. Yeah, a lot of
crazy.
Yeah, we have one affiliate who sells turnkey properties. So we've gotten tons of clients from that affiliate. We get them the funding, usually around 50 to 60,000 is what they're spending on these properties. And then boom, they get the funding set up with us. They send a wire transfer to the closing company, close on the deal as a cash buyer, get it rehabbed, place a tenant in it. And now they've got a rental property that they can now refinance into a long-term investment mortgage. So a lot of our clients do that, but most clients are doing flips. A lot of clients are doing flips. So that's how they use the money.
So what kind of credit score do you have to be working with, Mike, to kind of go through with this?
Yeah. So we work with people that have lower credit scores. We don't only take the people with 750s. So we work with people with about a 680 and up as far as who can we apply for right now. Now, for those people who don't quite have a 680 right now, we still work with a lot of those people. We have a large percentage of people who come into our program, they sign up on a webinar, or they sign up after talking to a salesperson, and they have bad credit. And the reason they do that is because we also own a credit repair company. So we help them improve and rebuild their personal credit so they qualify for business credit shortly after. So really, for immediate funding in the next 2 weeks, scores over 720. 680 and up, it's highly possible, highly likely we can apply right now as is with a 680, but it's not guaranteed. You know, it might turn out that you have a 680 right now, but you've got this negative late payment, or you're maxed out on your cards. So it's, you know, it's ideally a 730 and up, but
and you told me before we scenarios. Oh, go ahead, Mike. You said you work for people with what?
From all different credit scenarios. That's all I'm saying.
Gotcha. So you were saying we could possibly give my Roundup family, my Rounduppers, with the link below as we continue to talk. There's a link that you would give in my family members. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about that real quick, Mike.
Yeah, definitely. So an easy way to find out how much business credit you can get in the next 2 weeks is if you go to the link in the description. It's an easy opt-in form. Just choose your credit score range, and then someone from our team will give you a call, go over the program with you, and we'll ask you a couple questions about your credit as well. And then we'll give you a pre-qualification amount so that you'll know, based on your credit and your business, here's what you qualify for. And even if you don't have a business yet, it's all about your credit. So if you don't have an entity yet, you could just forget about that, because we're going to set that up for you. As long as you're in the right credit standing, you go to that link, pre-qualify. We tell you what you qualify for. We're also going to give you a lot of information too about your credit on that phone call. And then you can say, hey, you know what? I want to take advantage of the $500 discount that Chris negotiated. So if you go to that link, that's another thing that you'll get. In addition to the phone call, you'll get a couple videos, and then you get a nice $500 discount if you take action on the 12-month membership that we offer. That can build you up to $250,000 in business credit.
Wow. Unbelievable. I get so much to talk about. Mike, I know I got so many notes here, but who is, I just want to make sure for my Rounduppers, you know, I'm trying to bring you maximum value. Who is this not for? Because I don't want people to just get off this webinar. It's not for everybody, Mike. Who is this not for?
Yeah. So it's not for someone who is like super just desperate for money to go and spend it on, you know, consumer products. That's not what we're talking about here. These are business credit lines meant to be used responsibly in your business or your real estate deals. So if you're going to spend money on these accounts, you're going to pay it back. These aren't just like, you know, accounts that you got from the government funding program that you don't have to pay back or something like that. Like some of these other, you know, I know there's some government funding or SBA, and people just kind of think that there's less risk in it. But the truth is, if you don't pay back on any loan you get, there's going to be consequences. So when you use this type of credit, you must use it for things that you know you can pay down and making it a return on. So don't go out and buy TVs or go to Las Vegas and gamble it. Buy, you know, spend it on marketing, buy houses with it, pay your contractors so you can rehab more properties. Or you could also use it for gap funding if you got a hard money loan on a big deal and you need the extra money to fill the gap. One of your private lenders or your private money guys only wants to do 50%. Now you can fill the gap with this. So there's tons of different uses for it, but it's not for someone who's just, you know, needing the money
to pay bills.
Right.
Good. I just had to share that, Mike, because I don't want people to think that you just get this money and you do whatever. You know, it's just not. I don't. Well, in my world, it doesn't work like that.
Not even with not even with regular personal credit cards, because if you're getting regular personal credit cards, you know, you don't want to overspend on those either. You want to make sure that whatever you buy, if you buy a TV, make sure you can pay it down within a month or two. Ideally, pay your balances every month. You don't let that build up. That's how you end up in trouble. You got to keep on paying them down, even though it kind of hurts a little bit. Pay them down, get that balance paid off. Next thing you know, if you don't do that, 3 months later, 4 months, now you got a huge credit card bill, and now you're screwed. So I always try to pay down and close to, if not in full, every month. So I avoid that.
Thanks for hanging out with us, Mike. If you're just joining us, Roundup family, this is Mike Banks with Fund and Grow, offering business lines of credit. Make sure you visit the link below. It's going to give you a $500 discount to get it all set up. So you go into the 30-year. I know you said something about 30-year loan after receiving the cash, Mike. Is that process, or does that make sense?
Yeah. If it's a rental investor. So that question comes up when I speak with, for example, like I was telling you before, the turnkey rental provider. In that case, we're doing a landlord deal, right? So we're buying the house, fixing it up, putting a tenant in it, getting it to cash flow, then we get it appraised. Now we can cash out and get our money back that we put into it and put a mortgage on the property. Refinance into a mortgage. The bank gives you the money that the property is worth, and now you have a mortgage on it. And then your tenant is essentially covering the mortgage, obviously. And then you can pay down the balances, and then you can move on to the next deal. So in that case, yes, you want to refinance. But for the fix and flip deals, the fix and flip deals specifically, you got about 12 months at zero interest.
How does that work? This is amazing to me, Mike. I have to break this down for me, brother.
Yeah, let's clear it up because people are probably like, "What? This is BS." So we've been in business for 10 years. We're not like a new business by any means. Fund and Grow has over 1,500 positive reviews online. We're on the Inc. 5000 list the last 4 years in a row. Just Google Fund and Grow, and you'll find our Google reviews. 790 reviews there, 4.9 star rating. Nice. We don't have any negative reviews. You can look us up on the BBB, look us up wherever you want. So how does this work? It's zero interest. The banks offer zero interest on business credit lines, and we apply for those accounts. The problem is when people do this on their own, even the people with 750s, they come back and they're like, "Man, I try to do it on my own, but I got denied." They keep telling me I don't have any business credit, so they won't give me any business credit because I have no history. And we hear that a lot, but we don't deal with that. We don't have that issue when we have clients come to us. It's much easier for us to get them approved, especially if they have the good credit profile, good personal credit. That's really all we need. So getting approved for a lot of zero interest business credit, it's not that easy. Working with us, it's a lot. It's very easy. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to deal with it. But there are those offers out there. Zero interest offers exist. It's just not that many people realize how much you can get on these business credit lines. It's not just a $5,000, $10,000 credit card. Like we're getting people $50,000, $80,000, $150,000 in one shot. And then we wait a few months and we repeat the process and we get them another 50,000, 75, give or take. And we do that 3 times over the 12 months. And so it's not too good to be true. This is how it works. There's business credit out there. We strategically apply for multiple accounts. And we repeat that process 3 times over. We follow up and we ensure each application is approved by a human being at the largest limit possible. And that's something that we do for you, for our clients on your behalf through the relationships that we've established with each lender. So it makes it so much easier for us. That's why we do 10 to 15 million in new credit lines that we establish each month. So it might sound a little weird, like, wait, credit, zero interest. How can I do a flip with that? It's easy. You can send a wire transfer, like I said earlier, from the credit line to the closing company. And now you've just closed on a cash deal. And I've helped clients do this many times. It's not a big deal. You know, there's a company that's called plastic.com and with a Q on the end. And they will charge the credit line and they'll charge you a 2.75% fee. And then they'll send $50,000, $100,000 or whatever it is for the property directly to your title company. They put that money in escrow and then boom, you close on the deal and everybody's happy.
Wow. That's crazy, man. I'm excited for my people that are looking at this. But Mike, okay. Any process of getting the card. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, even for, I think there's a little delay. Sorry about that. Even for the people who are maybe wholesaling right now, I personally was wholesaling deals here and there. And I got into that. I started spending more money on marketing and direct mail once I had access to credit. Before, even though I have money in the bank and I make plenty good money working with Fund and Grow for the last 8 years, running this business, grown it into a huge company. My point is, I had the money in the bank. I was kind of hesitant to spend too much money on direct mail for my little wholesaling thing I'm doing on the side. But once I got access to credit, I was just like, all right, let's do it. And I just, I had more confidence, jumped into it, spent more money on it. And then I wholesaled about 5 deals, made decent money on each one. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to buy one of these deals, use the credit, use my money, fix it up, get it rehabbed, and then sell it. Because I had a deal that I couldn't find a buyer on because my price was just right at that right point. I couldn't get the seller any lower, and I couldn't find any offers higher. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to pass this up. I bought it. I'm still in process of getting it rehabbed. It's almost done. They painted floor, kitchen, bathrooms. And having access to credit is kind of what motivated me to do that. It pushed me over that edge and said, stop, being hesitant, just do it, jump in. So I think that's something that is a real concept for people that, maybe they have money in the bank, but they don't want to spend it. But if you have access to business credit, you feel a little differently about all this, and you might jump into that first deal a lot quicker. That's what happened for me.
Yeah, I like the fact that you not only do you provide the service, but you're doing the business too, Mike. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I was more active with my, with doing my deals and everything from like October of last year up until like the beginning of this year, around March, and then I bought that other deal, and now it's like I haven't been wholesaling, I haven't been spending money on marketing, I haven't been thinking about it, I haven't been calling. I just kind of push that to the side for now. Because my plan is I need to hire somebody. I can't do all that.
That's right.
So for now, I'm just going to focus on the flip and then get that sold. And then I'm going to get back into it, spend a little more money on marketing. And then I'm going to spend money on hiring somebody so I can have help outside of just a VA, because, that helps. But
so my mind is like, I'm thinking about people looking for credit, right? They're on computer. They're on a computer. They hit enter. There's no interaction with them personally doing it. I'm thinking, Mike, why would they hire you? They could just go do it. And I'm thinking about the relationships that you've culminated over the years. Just tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, definitely. And I was saying before, a lot of people have 750s. They get denied when they apply. And the reason is most people, when they apply for credit, the decision that they get, that's the decision that sticks. You're denied. Shoot, I'll wait till next year. Maybe I'll get approved next year. And that's not the way it works with us. Because of those relationships that you just talked about, we're able to get on the phone quickly with the underwriters and the decision makers that we're in contact with every single day. We have a whole team of people that do this. Like, we have 40 people in this building I'm in right now. We just bought a new office building because we outgrew this one. But anyway, they're on the phone with these people all day. They get paid a commission for however much they increase the credit line. Right.
Wow.
So
it's their job to get
people on working on these credit lines, getting these things increased. They're like hungry. They're incentivized. They're calling the bank. They're like, let's get it under review. Let's get it done. You don't have to wait on hold. You don't have to call the bank and sit on hold for 45 minutes and hope you get someone on the phone that can actually do a review with you, because it's not that easy to find that department. They usually just go around to customer service and they're like, oh yeah, it's in review. The analyst team is working on it, and we'll have a decision for you. Just check your mail.
Check your mail.
That's what they do. It's not that easy to get through to these decision makers. So that's a big reason why people work with us. Plus, you just take the guesswork out of it. If you're closing on a real estate deal on an apartment building or on a duplex, you're not going to learn how to do the title work, right? You're not going to learn how to do the title work and the closing paperwork so that you can save money on the closing costs. Believe it or not, I worked with one investor who told me that they do their own closing. They do their own paperwork.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I would never.
But I've never heard of that before out of all the other people I've talked to. So you're not going to go out and learn how to do the closing. You're going to pay the closing company to do it. It's a couple grand, whatever, 3, 4, whatever it is, depending on the purchase price. But that's the same thing with us. People pay us because we're the experts. We know what we're doing. We've been doing it for 10 years. It's just like anything else, just like any other business. So why would you pay us? That's why.
Wow. So you're building up equity over time. Can you roll the balance of the equity into these cards, into these or other cards, right?
Yeah. So if you have a balance on a card right now, you can roll the balance over into the new cards that we established, because we'll get you one round of funding today, and now you'll have zero interest for an average of 12 months. But we're going to get you another round of funding halfway through the 12-month membership with us. And then we'll get you another round of funding at the end of the 12-month membership. And what that means is each time we get you a new round of funding, you're getting new zero interest accounts that have 12 months of zero interest. So from the first round of funding, you spent 50 grand, paid it down a little bit, and then we get you more funding. You can roll the balance over to the new account so that you don't, so that you can avoid the interest as long as possible. Yeah, after that zero interest expires, the interest rate goes up to about 12 to 16%. So the idea is, for working with us, we do 3 rounds of funding to extend the amount of time that you have at zero interest. So instead of it just being that first window, you actually have a much bigger window at zero interest. So that's that's another reason why people want to work with us, because you don't want to have to worry about that every 3 to 6 months. You don't have to worry about submitting multiple applications, following up, spending an hour on the phone with the bank, and possibly not even getting approved. Whereas we know how to prep you before we apply. So we're not going to just apply and then, oh no, sorry, you didn't get approved. When we apply, you're getting approved, and you're going to get approved for a substantial amount. Most people get around 50,000. A lot of people get 80, 90, 100,000. Some people get 100, 150,000, 160,000. That's pretty much the top of what you can get in the first 2 weeks. But over the 12 months, we do that 3 times. So now you can get up to, and some people get over $250,000 through the 12 months.
Wow. Nice, Mike. Let me see.
And I don't know did we mention the entity yet, that we'll actually set that up for you if you don't have one yet?
Yeah, you did mention that. Are you working with the LLC? I mean, do you help them, or how does that work?
Yeah, exactly. So if they want an LLC, we work with an attorney firm who I've gotten to agree to set up the LLC for free for our clients. So if you get signed up through the link, you'll get a free LLC created for you by our attorney firm, who also specializes in trusts and estate planning and things like that. So you'll get that for free. Now, if you don't want that, we can also set up just a basic tax ID, which is what we do for a lot of clients. We'll set up the tax ID, and then we'll be able to apply with that. And either way, we'll do both for all of our clients. It really doesn't matter. Gotcha. So if someone's like, hey, I need an LLC because I've got these properties and I'm cash flowing this much in my wholesaling or real estate business, and I need the LLC for limit of liability and, to protect myself and protect my assets, then we'll say absolutely. But in some cases, we can just apply with a basic tax ID, like a sole proprietorship. That's really all you need. So if someone's out here thinking, hey, how do I do this on my own? You don't need the LLC. So that might sound like a big project to somebody. You can literally set up a sole proprietorship, which is really easy to do on the IRS website. And so,
Let me see for a second. Go ahead. Yeah, Mike, I got a question here. Somebody, Roundup family, they're going to give you a $500 credit if you sign up through the Roundup website, which is going to be below Fund and Grow. Michael, are you going to be able to set that up today, you thinking?
Yeah, absolutely. The link, you've got the link there, right, for the pre-qual page?
Yeah, I know. I'm always trying to negotiate the value for my Rounduppers. And I actually want to ask you. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, anyone who goes to that link, what was the link again?
Let me see. 1 second.
K Haskins Funding. That's right. Fundandgrow.com.
K Haskins Funding. That's right.
/K Haskins Funding. And we'll have that in the description. So if you go to that link, you'll get a phone call, and then we'll offer you the $500 discount at that time as well if you want to move forward. But if you don't want to move forward, you'll at least figure out how much you qualify for, and you'll learn a good amount about your credit and about business credit as well, just by talking to our team. We have a very, very highly skilled, highly professional team.
Incentivized too.
Incentivized.
I like that.
Yes, very much so. That's actually pretty much every department here is incentivized through commission or bonus. No, we don't really have just any department here that's just getting paid an hourly rate. We also basically have incentives, like a bonus program, for example, for our customer service client relations team. They get bonus points based on basically doing their job, basically just following up, handling the phone call. They get bonus points for that. And we have a very happy organization here. We take care of our clients. We care about people. We care about their business. We don't, we're not just trying to get people in and out quickly. We stay with them for 12 months. We take care of them. It's not like there's other companies out there that do what we do, and they'll charge 10, 20%. They'll charge $6,500, and they'll only get you one round of funding, and that's it. It's quick, real quick and done. And a lot of times they'll apply for personal credit for every single client, which basically screws them up, because if they've got only personal credit cards open, they put balances on those cards, it's going to bring their personal scores down a lot, and they're not going to be able to get any more credit. So that's why we really focus on business.
How is that working, Mike? Explain that to my Roundup family so we understand that concept, business and personal.
Yeah, so business credit, it doesn't show up on your personal report, on your personal credit report, right? So if you have a 750 score right now and you go out and you go to Fund and Grow and we get you business credit and we get you 50,000, and let's say you buy a house with it for 50,000, that debt is not going to appear on your personal credit report. So it's not going to bring your scores down. Your scores are going to stay high where they should be because you're using business credit. So any business expense, any real estate deals, any of those types of expenses should be staying on the business credit program. Mm-hmm. And so personal credit is just like personal credit cards, basic stuff, right? So these other companies, they say that they'll get you business credit. Yeah. The truth is they will apply for personal credit for every single one of their clients because they have a $50,000 guarantee. Once they hit that 50,000, they're done with you. But guess what? They just got you personal credit, and that's not really helpful. So I have countless affiliate partners who have come to me and said, look, I used to work with XYZ Capital, and they go for personal for all my clients. And I don't want that because I'm in the seminar business and I'm selling a $30,000 coaching program. I don't want them to put that $30,000 on their personal credit cards. You know why? Because now their scores go down. Now they have 600 scores instead of 750s. Because they maxed out the personal credit. I don't want that for my clients. I want them to come to Fund and Grow and get business credit so that they don't max out their personal and they don't bring their personal down. Instead, the business credit reports to the business credit profile and it doesn't affect the personal scores, which allows that person to get more credit down the road or a mortgage or an auto loan or whatever. And they're not going to look completely overextended because their personal cards have low balances. Even if their business credit cards are, carrying a higher balance, it's much better that way versus only having personal and maxing it all out. And now you're screwed because you can't get any more.
I know you mentioned about doing it jointly. Is that with a business partner or is that with a spouse, or how does that work? Is there benefits or?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, if you have that option of spouse, family member, business partner, if you go through this link, you can get basically a buy one, get one free. So if you sign up, you get the 12-month membership, you can bring on your spouse, business partner, you can add them on to your Fund and Grow client account, and then we'll apply for you and we'll apply for them. So you get double the amount of funding. Instead of getting 50, 100, you both could get 50 to 100.
Nice.
First round. So definitely worth it. But yeah, it's not something that we normally would just give away because we're basically giving away a membership to your spouse or to your business partner. But it has to be someone that you're bringing into the program with you, that you've got some trust with, because you're sharing a Fund and Grow account. You're not sharing credit card accounts. However, you can. So let's say I have bad credit, but I have my wife or my mother or my dad has really good credit. I can sign up with Fund and Grow and I can go get my wife or I can go get my dad and say, hey, let's do this. Let's get some funding and let's do a flip or whatever. And it's like, okay, here, let's use my credit. I have good credit. You have bad credit. Let's make an arrangement. So I bring my dad in, we get the credit in his name, and then he makes me an authorized user on the accounts so I can use the funding. Now we have access to funding that we can go and we can do real estate deals with. So it doesn't just need to be you. It can be family. It can be, like I said, anyone close to you that you bring in with you to the program.
Mike, how does the process of getting the cash off of the cards actually work?
So basically, you're sending a wire transfer. You're not necessarily just going to deposit. You can't just take the card and swipe it and now you have cash, because that would cost you a decent amount. So the best thing you can do is to send a wire transfer.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get the cash into your account. It's just a lot more tricky that way. And we've had clients do that. Balance transfers, for one, is a really easy way to do that. Convenience checks. A lot of times these credit lines will give you those things, those options, balance transfer and convenience checks, but not all of the accounts that you can get are going to have a balance transfer option. In some cases, it's zero interest on purchases or zero interest on balance transfers. So for the card that's zero interest on purchases, in that case, you're going to send a wire transfer or you can send a check. And so let's make an example. I want to buy a deal for 50,000. I get it under contract. Now I need to close on that deal with cash. So I can charge my credit card with plastic. They'll send a wire transfer directly to the closing company, like I was saying before, and deposit that money into escrow. Now I can close on that cash deal that I have under contract. So it's that's the way that works.
Wire transfers. Okay, cool. Because I'm thinking about going to the bank or going to the ATM or wherever with a credit card. You got the cash advance fee, and it's just crazy.
Right. No, we work around all that. So it's mostly going to be balance transfers, convenience checks, and then plastic, which is the most commonly used among our clients. Nice. Sending that wire transfer, sending that check. And cool. You can also send that money to your home equity line of credit. So if I have a home equity line of credit, I can overpay my home equity line of credit with my business credit cards by sending the money from plastic, charges my card, and then I send the money to my HELOC, could be whatever amount. Now I've overpaid the HELOC. Now I can withdraw directly from my HELOC because I've overpaid with the credit. So that's something that a lot of clients do. And it might sound like there's a couple moving pieces here, but that's the way it is. There's a lot of moving parts when you're dealing with a hard money lender too. Sometimes they won't approve the deal that you've got, but you could make a good 25,000. Having access to business credit lines, you can buy that deal for 50 grand. You can put that 15,000 into it, and then you can sell it for 95 or whatever. That's not that big of a deal. The amount of meat that's on that bone, a lot of hard money lenders might not want to lend to you on that. But if you have 60, 80,000 in credit lines, you could do it on your own. So
yeah, let's stay there with hard money lenders compared to you, Mike. I mean, what would be the difference in here?
So hard money you can use for the asset, for the house. That's what it's for, and that's it, right? And if you miss a payment, you lose it. You default, you lose it, right? You lose the house, you lose the money. You're kind of screwed, right? So also you're paying about 12% interest. I know you can get it for cheaper than that, but a lot of the newer people who have no deals under their belt are usually going to be paying top dollar for hard money, which is about 12% interest, and then 2 to 3 points, right? For origination fee.
Easy.
Yeah. So $100,000, 12% interest for a year, about 12,000, 15,000 is what you pay to get that money, to use that money. That's what it'll cost you for hard money. For business credit, it costs you 2.75% to send the money to the closing company. I have zero interest for 12 months on that account. Some of them are 15 months. Some of them are 9 months. So now I have that zero interest. So all I'm paying out of pocket is the 2.75% to use that credit line. Plastic charges it, plastic.com, send that wire transfer to the closing company. My only out of pocket expense is 2.75% on 100,000, which is 2,700, right? 2,750.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm paying $2,700 to use business credit on $100,000 to purchase that deal and then do my flip with it and have 12 months at zero interest. That's all it costs. Plus, you have to pay Fund and Grow, our service fee for 12 months.
Gotcha.
Which, if you do the math, the total ends up being less than half of what you pay for hard money. So for hard money, you're paying about 12 to 15,000. To use business credit, you're paying about 2,700 plus Fund and Grow's 12-month service fee, which is normally 4,000, but you got a $500 discount if you go to the link now, and you get it for $3,500. So 3,500 plus a 2,700. That, I'm not great at math, but around 6,000 for the $100,000 flip, which would have cost you 15,000, 12 to 15 if you did a hard money loan on it. So that's just an example of why you should have business credit, because you can do that deal. Let's say it's a smaller deal. You could do that deal on your own without having to pay the hard money lender, and you can save a decent amount of money. So
nice.
I'm not saying don't use hard money though, especially on the bigger deals, right? If it's like over 200,000, you might need the hard money loan, but you might be able to come out of pocket for half the expense, and make it easier to get the loan to begin with.
Well, we put this money, just so I understand, this money, we're putting it back when the property sells. Is that the mentality that my viewers need to have? We're putting the money back after the property sells. So we're using it for the property. What are we doing with the money after we sell it?
Okay, so once you sell it, now you got the cash. Pay down those those balances that you've got on the credit lines, because let's say you paid 50, 60,000 on your credit lines, paid another 20 grand, got it rehabbed. A few months later, you got it sold. So you're going to take that money, you're going to put some of it in your bank account because you're going to make hopefully about 40, 50, something like 30,000 profit. And then you're going to put the rest, you're going to pay off the credit lines, and then you're going to do the process over again.
Do it over.
Hopefully a couple times at least before that 12 months expires, because you have zero interest for 12 months on average, but they stay open. They're revolving accounts. So even if you don't finish that deal, or let's say 6 years down the road, you can use these credit lines again. Yes, there'll be an interest rate, but it doesn't matter because there's an interest rate on hard money and everything else. So at least you have access to funding in your pocket that you can do deals with whenever you want to.
Nice. I know you got to get out of here. I got a Roundup family. If you're just joining us, we're hanging out with Mike Banks. He's with Fund and Grow. He set up a special link for my Roundup family members. Just go to the link below on the screen there, and you'll get a $500 discount for the membership that he offers. And I'm just amazed at this 0% interest. This is crazy. Let's see. Any questions you got? Huh?
That one gets a lot of people. It's like, what? Zero interest? How are the banks making money? Like, well, I mean, you guys have heard of zero interest before, right? Like it's just the way they get you in the door. Now they got you in, and then they're hoping you got a lot of debt on those cards once the zero interest runs out, so they can actually make money on you. So they'll give those zero interest rates away, and they won't make money on you for a year or two. And in some cases, they won't make money on you at all if you work with us, because we help you keep that zero interest as long as possible.
That's great.
For many years too. A lot of clients sign up with us 2, 3, 4 years. You know, we might have a client sign up today and they come back 2 years from now, sign up again. You know, and that's not unlikely. It happens very often, actually. So there's benefit in doing that, because you can get access to more zero interest credit lines. And then in some cases, we'll close the old account down, or we'll merge it together with the new account, so you have that new zero interest offer.
Urban Lift has a question. Roundup family, make sure you put your questions in the chat box. Mike, he wants to know, does the Urban put your city in here too? They want to know, do they need to have any trade lines in order to get funding? Like, say for instance with Lowe's or Home Depot, do they have to have like existing trade lines?
Yeah. So with business credit, with what we're talking about right now, it's all major bank business credit cards like Bank of America, Barclays, Chase, Citi, Key, American Express, US Bank, America, Fifth Third. We work with like all of the biggest banks in the country, and a lot of the smaller ones based on your geographical footprint. So you do need to have credit, personal credit, right? So you need to have some personal credit established, and that will allow us to get you approved for business credit. Business credit, like I said, Bank of America, all the major banks, right? You need that personal credit foundation though. So you don't necessarily need a Lowe's card or those types. So that's another type of credit. What I'm talking about is the bank credit, right? So when we go and apply to Bank of America for business credit, they want to see that you've got some major bank personal credit cards already established, not just store credit. That's a big thing right there. So if you're thinking about this, how am I going to qualify? You kind of need to have some personal credit established. So at least 1, maybe 2 personal credit cards that you've had established and active for, longer than 6 months. We can't have just a bunch of credit cards. Like you just got a credit card, your first one 3 months ago. We need more of a foundation than that. So yes, you do need some trade lines. Ideally, a bank credit card around $5,000-$10,000 credit limit. You're not maxed out. You don't have any negative items. Scores over 700. You don't have a bunch of brand new accounts. You don't have a bunch of inquiries. So overall, your credit health and the history is pretty good overall. If you have that scenario going on, then we can help you. If you're not maxed out, if you have decent credit, 730 plus, 680 and up. For those of you, let's say you've got 20 years of credit history, right? And you've got one late payment from 6 years ago that's still showing on your report. That's why you're at a 670 right now. But you have $20,000 credit cards. That 680 guy right there, he's going to qualify. Whereas let's say someone with a 730 who has one brand new credit card open in the last 6 months, even though that guy has a higher score, he has limited credit. So a lot of it comes down to the credit history and the strength and the amount of active credit you've had over the years, not only your score. So sorry, that's a long answer, but
That's cool.
There's more to it than just the score, and it does involve trade lines. And I just realized there's a whole list over here of questions. On
I got you. So I told you it was going to be asking me before. Caroline, how's your time? I mean, I'm going to ask him to you. You don't have to actually. Caroline wants to know, is there an option to qualify based on the business credit alone and none of the personal? Good question.
That is a good question. So the thing is, there's a lot of like gurus out there that are talking about that topic right there, where, oh, you can get business credit that's not linked to your social security. It's not linked to your personal credit.
They are saying that.
Yeah, there are people that say that. And the truth of the matter is, the credit that they're talking about is Dun & Bradstreet vendor trade lines with places like Home Depot, Lowe's, Uline, and it's just these net 30 accounts that are only able to be used at those specific vendors. So that's likely what Caroline's talking about. She maybe has some of these vendor credit lines set up on her Dun & Bradstreet corporate credit profile. Maybe it established a Paydex score of 80, right? And so the whole promise is, if you establish that credit that we're talking about with Home Depot, the Paydex score, Dun & Bradstreet, that doesn't use your personal credit to get qualified for and to be approved for. However, that's pretty much the extent of it. You get access to those store credit lines. You build your Paydex score up to 80. Now you've established a corporate credit rating. And the problem is, if you want the business credit that I'm talking about, the actual zero interest business credit through all the major banks, not just this store credit stuff. The store credit stuff, the Dun & Bradstreet stuff, it doesn't require a personal credit check, but it's just vendor credit, right? So in order to get the business credit with zero interest that you can use to buy houses with, that is going to require a personal credit check regardless. So does it help to have a Paydex score and the corporate Dun & Bradstreet profile established? Does that help you? Yes. Are they still going to look at your personal credit for really any loan that's worth having? Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there is no way to qualify for what I'm talking about without having that personal credit foundation and that decent score, the decent history. If you don't have that, we help you guys with that. We help people improve their credit. We help with credit repair. We have a credit repair company, very aggressive 4-channel dispute process. They'll go as far as calling in to get the items removed. So they help a lot of our clients who are in tough situations. So yeah, that's kind of the deal with that.
Mindstroke ENT just he said he's pulling out some money to cover down payment for a hard money loan. Talk about the terms after the 0% credit line draw, Mike.
So after that zero interest expires, the rate goes up to about 12 to 16% on average, is what we're seeing after that zero interest expires.
Pay it off, basically.
Say again?
Basically, we talking about paying this thing, selling the house and paying it back, basically. I mean, you don't want to get into that. You're not going to be able to cash flow it on that.
Yeah, this is not meant to buy and hold in any sense.
Thank you.
But you can still buy and hold starting out with the credit line, because let's say it's a cash deal and it needs work and you want to buy it as an off-market cash deal, then yeah. But as far as holding on to it, no. And all the monthly payback terms, the other part of that question. Oh yeah. Monthly payback term is your balance that you hold. If you're using 5,000-10,000 of the credit limit available, that's what your monthly payment is going to be towards, and it's going to be 1% of the balance. So if I have 100,000 available, but I have $50,000 being utilized right now on a house or whatever, I owe 1% each month. That's my minimum monthly payment. So my minimum monthly payment on 50,000, $500, and then next month I'm paying on 49.5. Yeah.
Gotcha. Good question, Maestro. Real Estate said, "I've used them. You're a good company." Wow, that's cool. Somebody's used you already. He needs a.
Nice. This happens surprisingly a lot more than I would realize. I've been in rooms before doing a thing from the front of the room, and then people raise their hand like, "Oh, I've used Fund and Grow. I'm a client." I'm like,
"Wow, that's awesome. That's cool." Roundup family, if you want to save $500 on your membership, make sure you go to the link below. Mike has been so kind to set up a special link for the Rounduppers here. How is the LLC taxed? I don't know. Do you get into that stuff too, Mike? Nickel wants to know.
How's the LLC taxed? That's
Yeah.
above my pay grade. I don't know how to answer that question. But I'm not sure even what. If you could come back with another question, maybe give me a little more
Gotcha.
info on what you're asking. That would be a better question for my CFO or
Gotcha.
attorney who sets up the LLC, though.
Mike deals with the money, guys. George Moore, how about if you already have an LLC, Mike? Is that okay?
That's fine. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. We can use that. And if, let's say, you don't have one, that's fine too, because we apply for people every single day who do not have an existing business entity established.
Gotcha. Stony Cliffs, you guys, make sure you put your city and your state in here. Stony wants to know, is it wise to sign up now, even if you're not going to use the funds at this time, Mike?
Yes, of course. I mean, if you have the funds, you're more likely to use them. That opportunity pops up. You don't want to call Fund and Grow and be like, hey, I need the credit now. Can you give me it now? We're going to be like, no, it's going to take a couple of weeks, and then you're going to lose the deal. So I don't know. Why wouldn't you sign up and use the funds now? Why would you wait? Give me more background on that.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing.
Why wait to establish your credit? Why wait to get access to funding? Unless you're out of the country right now or whatever the case might be, that might make sense to wait. But I always say, don't wait. That's what we always say on like the webinars and on sales calls, because I've had so many people that are on the phone with us, or they're on a webinar and they're like, I need the money tomorrow. I have this deal I found and I need it. And it's like, okay, well,
do that. Probably should
just get the funding before that deal comes around. But
I cannot tell you how many times I've lost deals in the past, not having my money signed up. I don't know. I think it's a mental thing too, Mike. Let me ask you. I'm ready to go. My money's lined up. I can make the offer. I know I can close. I mean, it's just gives you a whole nother swag.
That's what I was trying to get at before. Like, you just feel like you can do it now. Like, you got access to 20, 50, 100, whatever it is. It just gives me that little bit of extra swag to pull the trigger on it,
I'm telling you, brother.
I got it. I can handle it. It's not just my savings money. It's not just my personal credit. I got this whole business credit line.
Nice. EO wants to know, don't forget, guys, put your city or your state in here. Thanks for the offer. It wants to know, will this work in all 50 states, Mike?
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. Just not outside of the country. So a lot of people who are like in Canada or wherever, they're always like, does this work for me too? And unfortunately, I have to be like, no, this is U.S. citizens with a, U.S. Social Security number and credit as well. So
Mindstroke ENT wants to know, what is the benefit of coming through our link, Mike, that you established for my Roundup family members?
So you get a $500 discount off of the service fee that you pay Fund and Grow. So Fund and Grow offers a 12-month membership, and that cost is normally $4,000. If you go through the link, you could do it in payment plans. You'll get it for $3,500. So let's say you don't want to spend $3,500 out of pocket right now. Maybe you have good credit, but you don't want to put the whole $3,500 out. You can do 3 payments of $1,332, $1,332, and so that'll get you started for today or tomorrow, whenever. $1,300 basically. And you're in the door now. You're started. Process goes just the same as if you paid it all up front. Instead, you can do a payment plan. So it's just $1,300. 2 weeks later, you have credit in your hands. You can either pay off the balance that you owe to Fund and Grow.
I was going to ask about that.
Or you can just continue paying the payments off.
You could just pay right back off with the line of credit, is what you're saying. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Nice. Yeah, because it used to take 30 days to get funding in our clients' hands. But then I had this idea to basically cut out part of the process where we would make people wait a week in order to get on the phone and do a consultation call. And so we had this schedule and people were booking their consultation calls, and that whole thing was 2 weeks backed up. So I said, all right, well, from now on, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to just contact the clients as soon as they sign up. We're going to do a credit review, and we're going to tell them the next step is this. You're going to applications in 2 days from now, and we're going to call you and do the consultation at that time, versus making everybody's schedule. So we cut our turnaround time from 30 days to 2 weeks. So it's very feasible to get approved, get the funding in your hands before that next payment is coming out. However, if that doesn't work out in that right timing for you, for some reason, some clients sign up, they don't fill out their info. Some clients sign up, they got to make a pay down on a credit card before we apply. Pushes them out past the 2 weeks sometimes. So what I'm saying is, for the most part, you could probably pay your next 2 payments with the credit we get, but it's not I'm not guaranteeing that. You might have to pay the second payment with your own credit card because it might have taken a little longer for XYZ reasons. It happens.
Gotcha. Thank you. Good question there. Celine, how are we looking on time, Mike?
We're good. I'm good. These are good questions. I don't have anything else to do.
Yeah.
Answer the questions. I don't mind. Do you require down payments when we find a rehab property?
Rehab property to purchase.
How much % of ARV? Okay, so
I think you might be putting them together.
Yeah, this isn't. I get a lot of leads every day, right? They need hard money loans. Because I don't know if you guys have heard of Connected Investors.
Yeah.
All the CIX platform with all the hard money loans and all that. Anyway, I get a ton of leads from people who want hard money loans, and then they find out about what we're doing, and they're taking it up, like, they're signing up.
Them over.
So for what Celine's asking here, the funding that we get, it's not specific to a deal. Doesn't matter what the deal is. You don't need to tell me what the ARV is or what the cost is or what your rehab cost is or what the market value says it is. None of that. That's up to you. All we do is get you the money. You come to us, we say, oh, you got decent credit, huh? Well, we can get you 50,000, 100,000 in the next 2 weeks and up to 250 over the 12 months. And then you can go and buy any deal you want. Doesn't matter to me if, that's so all this down payments, rehab,
ARV,
kind of ARV, that's all like real estate, comp, values, offers, estimates, all that stuff. That stays with you guys. We don't even think about that. We just get you the money. You find a deal below market value with some room to make money, then you jump on it.
Nice. Stephanie Hanshaw. Hey, what up, Steph? On average, what kind of credit score is needed for 50,000, say, ballpark?
About a 730 and up. So it could be, I used to do the applications like 7 years ago. I would do the applications. I would communicate with the client. I would communicate with the bank. I would get the increases and all that and negotiate and all that. And I've gotten one client over 75,000, and he had issues with his credit. And he was actually an owner of this credit repair company, one of our affiliates. Anyway, he had issues with his credit. I got him approved for 75,000. I'm pretty sure he was about a 670, 680. This was a long time ago. But 50,000, generally like a 730 score and above, ideally 730 and above, could be a 680 and up, depending on how strong the history is. Now, you need to have some credit lines open too, credit cards. If you don't have any credit cards open, you're not going to get 50,000. If you have a couple personal credit cards open, let's say you've got $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 credit cards open right now, that person very likely will get 50,000 in their first round of funding with us. Now, if you've only got one $5,000 account, you might get less than 50. But if you've got, like I said, 5, 10, 15, maybe a $20,000 card in there, right? That person is going to get approved possibly for more than 50,000 because they have that $20,000 card there.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of how it works in a sense. Like we can work a lot of magic by negotiating each limit to the max possible. But usually it does go by your personal credit cards. So if you've got strong personal credit right now, expect 50 plus. If you've got somewhat limited personal credit right now, maybe just a couple smaller, newer cards over the last couple of years, then you might be around the 50 or you might be a little under that 50 on your first round of funding.
I know this guy personally. Stephanie's just a A+ guy, man. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Hey, one thing, if you guys go to the link, choose your credit score, we'll call you and we'll say, look, here's how it works. Tell me a few things about your credit. What's your credit score, right? What's your limit on your major bank cards? What are your balances? Do you have any new credit card accounts that you've just opened up in the last 3 to 6 months? Do you have any late payments, any negatives, any new inquiries? all right, I kind of understand where your credit's at right now. You got these limits, these balances. Your balances are kind of high, but based on your credit right now, here's what you pre-qualify for. That's what's going to happen if you call in. We're going to give you a very clear idea of what's going on with your credit, and we'll even run a pre-qual for you. So we have a way that we can do a soft credit pull, run it through our analyzer, and it will respond immediately, and it'll tell you, you pre-qualify for 50 to 60 based on your credit right now. So that's another thing we can do. If you book a call, we can really get clear on the amount that you'll get, because we have that pre-qualification machine that'll do a soft credit pull, and then it'll tell you what you qualify for.
So if they follow you, are you saying if they go to that link below, pull in the information, submit the information, then you guys are going to be able to interact with them?
Yeah. A lot of times we can just talk to them over the phone and say, okay, what's your score? What are your limits? What are your balances? How new are your credit cards? Do you have any new ones? Do you have any late payments? Do you have any bankruptcies, charge-offs? Okay, now that I got that info, here's what you're going to pre-qualify for. Now, they say, oh, I don't really know. I think I'm about a 690, 700. I think I have a couple credit cards that are kind of maxed out right now. I'm not really sure. We'll be like, okay, you're not really sure. Let me do this. Let me just get a little more info from you, and then I will pre-qualify you by running that soft credit pull, and then using that data and running it against our pre-qual machine and using that data to give you an accurate response. But if someone's like, hey, I got a 750 with $10,000, $20,000 credit card, and they're 6 years old, and I'm about halfway utilized, I got about a 50% balance compared to the limit. I'm on the phone with this person. I'm like, oh, okay, so you're good to go. You qualify. I don't need to run the official pre-qual with the soft credit pull and all that stuff, because I've gathered the info I need on the phone, and I know that this guy or this woman qualifies just based on those questions I ask. But if they're not sure about their credit, we run that pre-qual, which does a soft credit pull, and then it analyzes and gives them a more accurate response that way.
Good. In order for you to get the discount Roundup family on the membership, you have to use the link below. This is negotiated, but personally by me. Just go to that link, fill out the information, and you'll get that. Paris, what's up, my friend? He calls me the minister. I'll take that.
I like that.
Does it help? I think you talked about this earlier. Does it help to have your LLC set up in a Dun & Bradstreet number? Does it help to go along with your personal credit, Mike?
It does, actually. Yes. I didn't mean to take away from Dun & Bradstreet before. The thing is most people want cash credit. They want bank credit with zero interest, right? That's the main dream for people. But then they get caught up with doing the Dun & Bradstreet thing, because there's other people out there that are like, get $250K that's not linked to your social security number in business cash credit. But that's just not true. Like, in order to get the cash credit with zero interest through the major banks, they're going to look at your personal credit, even if you have that Dun & Bradstreet profile and that pretty corporate credit paydex score of 80. That whole thing it's nice to have in addition to your personal credit. So it does help, because a lot of times the bank, they look at your business credit profile, and so they'll see the Dun & Bradstreet history that you've established. So it definitely helps. So what we do, if someone comes to us, they have bad credit, personal, we get them going on credit repair, and then we get them going on establishing that Dun & Bradstreet profile. Even though it's not the most lucrative type of credit, it still could be helpful. And it really does help when we go and when we apply for business credit with the major banks. They want to see that you have good personal credit history, but they also want to see that you have some business credit history. So it does help having the D&B credit established, but you don't need it. The only thing you need in order to get funding in the next 2 weeks is a decent personal credit profile right now.
Good question, Paris. Daniel, hey Daniel, do you charge the credit card that you get? Do you charge the credit card that they get, or are you going to need to pay that out of your existing cards? Good question, Daniel.
So to get signed up with us, if you guys were like, let's say, wanting to sign up right now, I'd say, all right, all I need from you is your billing address and your credit card number, and then we would get you signed up either under the 3,500 or a payment plan, and we would charge your credit card today. And so we would charge you 3,500, or you could pay from your bank account if you want, or we would charge you, like I said, one of the payment plans, about 1,300. Boom, charge that today. So now you put that on your credit card, the 1,300. Now we go and we apply for you. We have the funding for you in your hands within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Now you have access to the new credit cards that we've established, so you can pay your second and third payment with the credit we've established for you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But the first payment, in order to get started, doesn't need to come out of your pocket. However, one thing we didn't talk about very much, because we just don't talk about it that much anymore when I do these videos, when I do these webinars, we actually took it out of our webinar because it was confusing people and it's expensive. It's the performance-based program that we have. So we do have another performance-based option. So you literally don't have to put any money down at all up front. But it's different than what we were talking about this whole time. The 12-month membership, it costs $4,000. We discount it to $3,500 because of this call and the price that Chris negotiated. So that 12-month membership for $3,500 with that $500 discount, that is a great deal. You get 3 rounds of funding for $3,500. That's it. You don't pay anything else. The performance-based program, no money down up front, is nice, but you're paying 9% out of the credit that we established for you. Way more money. So if I've had a client that she happily paid $14,000. It's unreal to me that someone's going to do that when we have an offer for $3,500 for 12 months. It'll get you 3 rounds of funding. You can get way more credit that way, and you only pay $3,500. Do it with a payment plan. People don't want to pay up front. They're like, no, I don't trust that. I never pay up front. I don't pay contractors up front. I don't pay for renovations up front. So we're like, okay, well, the only other option we have is the 9% back end fee. And so about 10%, maybe something like that, of clients go that route. And it's just not worth it. You don't get the bang for your buck. It's way more worth it to put down $1,300 today. And now you've got us for 12 months. You got 3 rounds of funding, way more credit possibility there. And it's just a better bang for your buck. And you get a 60-day refund period on the 12-month membership, not on the performance-based. So obviously
60-day refund
if you didn't pay up front on the performance-based, right? But on the 12-month membership, you got that peace of mind. So if you put down $1,300 today, and then 2 days later we call you and we say, hey, turns out we looked at your credit and you're maxed out. We can't apply right now. You have to pay $10,000 down to bring your cards down below 50% at least. Ideally, we want them at 35%. But anyway, so we might tell someone, hey, you're maxed out. You don't qualify, right? They might turn around and say, oh, okay, well, if I don't qualify right now as is, I need to get my money back so that I can afford my other stuff in my life. Because, if I'm not getting approved right away, I don't want to stick with the program. Sometimes that happens. However, it's very rare. Even if people need to make pay downs on their credit cards, they still stay in the program because we tell them exactly which cards to pay down. We also help you move balances from one credit card. You might have one card maxed out. The other card you have has no balance. That's bad. Don't do that. Keep your balances 35% across the board. 35%. If you've got multiple credit cards, don't put it all on one. Keep it balanced among all of your cards. And so that's what we'll tell somebody. If they're maxed out on one card and they've got one other card that's not maxed out, we'll say, look, balance transfer half of that, because it really does make a difference. The bank will deny you. If you're maxed out on one card and you're not on all of your other cards, that could still get you denied because it doesn't look good that you're maxing a card out and you got all this other cards. It's like, hello, what's going on here? You've got all this other credit. Use it. Be smart. The bank is looking at that very critically. And so ideally, you're keeping your balances down at the 35% mark. And if you're not there, we'll strategically come up with a plan for you in order to get those balances more balanced out. And then we can apply right after that and get you approved. So 60-day refund period.
It sounds like it's money back guarantee, Mike. I mean, it sounds like it's money back.
Yeah, it's a money back guarantee. But if you get credit, then that's off the table. You can't just be like, oh, I got 50,000, but I want my refund. That's not going to work. You're not going to be able to keep both. So,
gotcha.
Every once in a while, we hear something like that. But it's business credit. We get you approved. You're in the program. There's no more refund option. But if we only get you approved for $2,000 and you paid $3,500. That's a different story. But that doesn't happen. So most people are hitting minimum $25,000, and those people know they're going to get 25,000 before we apply, right? We don't go and we're like, oh, you're going to get 100 grand. And then they only get 25,000. That person's not going to be very happy. Mm-hmm. So when we apply in advance, before we apply, they know what they qualify for. Good. So it's not like people are like, oh, you know, what happened? Or I didn't get what I thought I was getting. We make sure we have a very clear call with them before we apply. Say, look, this is what you qualify for based on your credit. We give them a window, and we're usually in that window, or we're over that amount. So
Celine, the link is below. Yes, just go to the link below to get your $500 discount on your membership, and Mike will be in touch with you, and his team will be in touch with you. The link is below, Roundup Family, right in this video. Just go below.
Yeah, but make sure you go to that link. Don't just go to the web. Don't just go to our website. Like it kind of sounded like that person was asking, go to the website, or don't just go to Fund and Grow. Go to the link that Chris has. There's a special link with a code on the back of it, which will allow you to get that $500 discount.
That's right. You will not get the discount, Roundup Family, if you just go to their website.
Yeah, and that's a big reason why you should go through Chris's link, because he literally negotiated that discount for you guys.
Joy, this is a great show. Thank you, Joy. That we do our best. Could this also work if I want to hold the property and refinance it and then pay off that balance, Mike?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. There's a video on our YouTube where I interview a client who's a college student. He's already got 2 rental properties, and he did that by going through the Fund and Grow program, him and his partner, and then they bought 2 rental properties, and they've rehabbed them, and they've got tenants in both of them, and they've refinanced, and now they've got the credit available again. They've got the properties into a longer term mortgage. So yes, you can do that, definitely. Now, the thing is, though, it depends on your market, because if you're dealing with properties that are under $50,000, it gets tricky to refinance that.
Refinance them, yeah. That should be done with a local bank.
Savvy with real estate know what I'm talking about. It's hard to get a mortgage on a property with under a $50,000 value. So as long as you're not in one of those markets where you're like an Indy, you know, where there's like tons of properties from like 20 to 50,000.
Yeah.
And there's smaller banks. It's just a little bit. My point in saying this is I'm trying to be super clear and not hold anything back. And I'm telling you that, yes, you can refinance, but if you're dealing with a property that's around the 50,000 mark, it becomes more difficult to get a mortgage on that property, period. Because the bank doesn't want to deal with anything that's under that amount, because they're literally losing money on that deal. The amount of cost that they're incurring when they do a mortgage only allows them to do mortgages that are 50,000 and up. So yeah, that's something
remember that, Joy.
Bundle loan and things like that. If you have multiple $50,000 properties, you can do a bundle loan, and then it gets easier to get them refinanced.
Nico Mesa, he was asking about, does it matter if he has an S Corp or a C Corp? He asked that back there. I didn't know that you were going to cover that, Mike. I didn't want to.
That doesn't really matter. You could use whatever entity you've got, existing or not. And then, I mean, we set up sole proprietorships for people.
One person.
All that matters is your credit. Doesn't matter what type of liability, limited liability company or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all about, do you have good personal credit? Check. Okay. That's all I need.
Shay wants to know what if they have, I guess he or she has an LLC that is not related to real estate, Mike.
That's actually perfectly fine. Back in the day, when real estate was going through some issues, the industry itself, 2008, blah, 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 it was a lot harder as a real estate business to get funding. Now it's totally different. Back in the day, we used to establish a business and management or marketing and advertising company, because those industries had a lower default rate. So they were approved at a higher rate of approval. So it doesn't matter what industry it is. It doesn't, and honestly, it might even be better that way. So if it's not in real estate, that's fine. If it is in real estate, that's fine. Again, credit score, credit history, all that matters.
This was covered. You already talked about paying for the membership out of your line of credit. We covered that, Mike.
Yeah. You can do that if you want, or just put down a payment today. Save yourself a lot of money.
Yeah. Chris, do you do rent credits on my rent-to-own homes? Oh, he's got off the line of credit. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. That's a real estate question. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, my friend. I don't give them the refund back either. Rent credit's non-refundable. Jason, hey, if you have labeled, oh, okay, he's talking to Shay. We covered the interest rate. We already did that one. Alexis wants to know, how long will our discount be offered? Mike, do they have to come through my channel to get the discount? And how long will it be on there?
Yeah, you've got to go through Chris's link. The $500 discount. If you're seeing this video, go to the link and find out if it's still available. It should still be available, though. We're probably going to keep that open. Since
as long as you're coming through. Yep.
This is sensitive, right? It's going to be out on your YouTube. So,
yep.
Yeah, if you're seeing this, then you're lucky enough.
The link is below. Link is below. Shay wants to know, is there a cash advance fee? I think we covered. You talked about that. If we want to touch that for a quick second, Michael. I know we talked about that earlier.
Yeah, there's no cash advance. We don't do anything with a cash advance. That's not what we're talking about. Gotcha. The only fee that you would be paying to send that wire transfer out to any place of business. It could be a closing company. It could be a contractor who only takes cash. Gotcha. And you want to pay them with your credit. You charge that card 2.75%. Plastic does that, plastic.com. Yeah. And then they send the wire transfer wherever you want. And it's just 2.75%. There's no cash advance fee.
Danny, how long does a new business need to be established before being able to build business credit, Mike? He's been in business for a year and a half.
Yeah, that's, again, it's not really a qualifier. The main thing is your credit score, personal credit score and history. You don't need to have an established business. That goes more towards Dun & Bradstreet type of credit, gotcha. Where there's no personal credit check, but those are only store credit lines. So, yeah, so it's not really relevant so much how new or old your business is. It's more about your credit.
Gotcha. I keep hearing you going back to that, man. That's actually pretty cool. Let's see what else we got. Can you build? You can. Oh, they're talking amongst each other.
So this is
cool. Ahead, Mike.
Are these questions coming from your YouTube?
They're coming in through my YouTube channel. Absolutely, my friend.
That's awesome.
Yeah, D Howard. Hey D, nobody wants to tell me where they're at today. I'll get you next time, Roundup family. But the membership, when you get the cards, is there a long term? Oh, once again, they want to know if there's a way to do a long term buy and hold. Yeah, we covered that. Go ahead.
There is, though. I have a ton of clients. Literally created over $85 million in credit lines for this organization, this group, and that's the primary focus is rental properties. That's what they're all doing. We've established 85 million in credit lines. We've dealt with over like 1,300 clients from this one organization, and they're all trying to buy rental properties. Wow. Rehab them, place a tenant, get it refinanced, and then boom, they've got that rental property. Because you don't want to pay retail for a rental property, and if you want to get a discount, usually you got to be a cash buyer. So that's where we come in.
Nice. D. Howard, good question. Where are you from, D. Howard? Paris. Would you consider programs similar to crowdfunding or peer-to-peer funding? Would you consider their program, as my Paris is asking?
Yeah, it's a bit different. Yeah, this is just like, literally getting you business credit.
Gotcha.
It's straightforward. It's like we go to Bank of America, Chase, all the major banks. We apply for business credit lines. We do all of that for you, and then you get the cards in the mail, and then you can use them however you want.
Nice. But you better use them. If you're watching this channel, it better be for business expenses. Mike can't say that, but I'm going to say it better be if you're watching me. Yeah. Business expenses going on here. I don't,
Yeah, I agree too. I honestly never hear of clients who took out a bunch of business credit, blew it all, and then can't pay it back. I don't hear that ever. Okay. And I deal with a lot of clients. We have a lot of clients coming in every day. We're growing, and we have probably about 200 new clients every month. And we do about 10 to 15 million that we establish in new credit every month.
Wow.
And we don't have like a bunch of people saying, "Oh, I couldn't pay it back. What do I do? What do I do?" I
Gotcha.
never hear of that.
Okay,
So we're
good,
pretty
good.
careful with how we present this, just like what
Okay.
Chris, just like what you did there. Like we're not encouraging people to go out and get these credit lines when they're having a
Oh
hard time
no.
paying their mortgage
Oh no.
or keeping up. This
Oh
is
no.
not the time for that. If that's where you're at,
Mhm.
this is for people who are right on that verge, or they're already doing deals, or they're right on that fence.
Roundup family, a few more questions. Don't forget to go to the link in the video description, see how much you qualify for. Mike's people will call you back and negotiate your membership with him, and you will get a $500 discount only if you come through the pre-negotiated discount that Mike and I did for you. $500 off. How long does he have to get the money back? Mike, Larry, I don't know. I don't quite understand
So
that.
zero interest is an average of 12 months. Some of them are
Okay.
less, some of them are 15 months. That's about the amount of time you have to pay it back, because you don't
Gotcha.
want to carry a huge balance after that interest rate expires.
Uh-uh.
You want to pay it back ideally before then. So if you
Gotcha.
buy a house or you buy something, inventory, whatever, marketing dollars, whatever you're spending the money on, we're very hopeful that you're going to be able to pay it back not too long after you've used the money, right? So you want to be able to pay it back at least within a couple months or so, not like 2 years or something like that.
Gotcha. Well, typical flip is going to be 6 to 12 months, 6 to 9. Robel wants to know, hey, Robel, what type of income requirements are used for the business credit, Mike?
Income requirements aren't as important, and here's why. They're stated income,
Good
the
question.
applications. So it's not like you're going to have to come back with tax returns and financials and all this stuff. It's all credit based. The banks love lending through these business credit cards versus a traditional loan, business loan, SBA, because it's so much easier for them. It costs them less money as far as like manpower goes. So getting access to business credit is easy, and it's all based on stated income, which means you can use projections as long as you're disclosing that. And we disclose anytime we're using a projection, we disclose that to the underwriter when we're calling in. So as far as income goes, there's really no requirement because they're not going to request tax returns. But if you have no income and you're asking for $100,000 in business credit, then that's not going to really work out. So we've got to look at what you have going on. Do you have any deals that are coming to profit soon? We'll work with you on that and figure out the way to best present things in the most legitimate and ethical way possible. And then, like I said, if we are going to use projections, we will disclose that to the bank, which other companies aren't going to do because we're the only one in the industry who actually has that kind of rapport and contact on our client's behalf with each bank that we apply with. So we're able to disclose projections.
Nice. D. Brooks, good. That was a good question, Robel. People want to know, what type of income do I need? No, don't want to waste your time.
Yeah, it's more about the credit. It really is.
Geez, they have good credit. Will he or she be able to build from the ground up if they already have the land in Huntsville, Alabama?
Yeah. If you've already got the land, then definitely,
I don't
absolutely.
think Mike cares. I mean, I don't think his company cares if you're building, as long as you're
Yeah, I
going to
mean, it
use
depends on who you're working with. I mean, so if you're working with a contractor and he's only going to take cash for that build, or he's only going to take a wire transfer for that build, which wire transfer from your credit line, it's the same exact thing as handing him cash.
Yeah.
He doesn't care how you send him that wire, the builder. So as long as you got access to this funding, you're going to be able to get that deal done. And
I mean, you can still use the escrow, Mike. I've had taking my money right to the escrow company and let them hold it. I mean, I've had wires go to the escrow. I mean, you can still wire to the escrow and have the escrow company give it to the contractor. I mean,
that's exactly right. You could send it right to your closing attorney, to the title company, and boom, they got the money. But again, if it's a place of business, that contractor, you could send that wire transfer just as easily to the escrow account, to the title company. You can send that wire transfer to the contractor. I could send the wire transfer if I wanted to Chris right now, because if let's say I work with Chris and he did some consulting for me, right? And he charged me 10 grand for it. I could say, all right, I got to pay Chris now. I'm going to use my wire transfer methods through Plastic because Chris is only accepting cash, and just it's hypothetical. So I could send, let's say Chris Haskins Consulting Company, I could send him 10,000 from my credit card, hit the wire transfer, boom, he's got the cash now in his account. Now that's another way you can, you can do this.
Yeah, well, the only reason I said escrow, Mike, is because I trust the escrow people. I don't know where her relationship is with the contractor. God forbid, I'm just speaking
True.
on. I want to see coming out of the wire into the escrow company. I know it's there. I trust the title company. They're bonded. If anything happens, I'm good.
Definitely.
D Brooks, good question, D. Dream come true. Hey, what do you mean, Mike, when you say 3 rounds of funding?
So we get you your first round of funding in the first 2 weeks. That means we apply and we get you approved with business credit accounts. We do that 3 times over the 12-month period. And we do it the first time right when you get started with us in the first 2 weeks. And then we wait a good few months because we can't just apply every day. We have to give time in between each application round. So we usually wait 3 to 6 months before we do the second round of applications. And so we'll usually apply to about 4 banks each time. So that's how that works. So nice. That's really, and there's other companies out there. Instead of doing that, what I just explained to you, the 3 rounds of funding, instead they'll apply for 15 or 20 applications today, and that's it. Cross their fingers. They'll tell you to call in and try to get a decision about it. And so they apply for like 15 at once, and they only get you approved with a few. We apply for just a small amount at each time, and we get you approved for all of them. So we don't use the shotgun approach. We're more like snipers. We apply for very few accounts, and then we do it again several months later, and then we do it again several months later, versus a lot of these other firms that'll just throw everything at the wall at once and see what sticks. And they'll make you call in and try to figure out how to navigate the bank system for 45 minutes. So we do all that legwork for you guys. And
nice. Yeah. Dream come true. Good question. Don't forget, Roundup family, hit the like button for your boy if we're sharing some information that's helping you out today. Charles, do you get charged for the remaining balance or what the balance was at the start? I'm thinking he's talking about interest here. It's got to be
remaining balance.
Remaining balance.
It's not like retroactive, getting beat over the head with it. No. If you've got $10,000 balance today and the 0 interest expires, that's what you're paying interest on, is the 10,000 balance you have today.
Plus that one. Oh, nice. Okay. Josh wants to know, is the fee $3,500 for the year before or after the discount when this comes through my link?
Yeah. So if you go to our main website, you'll see the price is $3,997. Mm-hmm. So Chris's discount takes it down to $3,497. So the $3,500 is after that discount.
Nice. Mike, we got them all, my friend. We got them all. Give me your final thoughts on people using business credit and why should they do that to help with their business, Mike?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that was a pretty good little video live stream we just did. It kind of reminded me of a webinar, which is something that we do often. We do a lot of webinars, and I'm thinking we might do one together at some point. But my point is, having answered all those questions and interacted with everybody is really awesome. I love doing that. And at this point, since we kind of delved deeper, we answered a lot of questions. We went over a lot of stuff just now. So at this point, there should be a good handful of people that are watching this that are ready to sign up.
That's true.
So many questions. So I'd say my final thought would be, go to that link as soon as possible, and then we'll give you a call as soon as possible and get you started or get you informed, pre-qualify you and all that good stuff. But I would say, it seems like there's a lot of really good candidates on this call right now.
It is.
So if you're watching right now, definitely just at least find out some more info. Go to the link, fill that out.
Nothing to lose.
Yeah, I don't really have any other things. I think we covered pretty much everything.
Cool. Okay.
That I can think of. Yeah, I think we did really well.
Okay, Mike, that's all I got. The Roundup family. Make sure take a second to subscribe to my channel. Just hit that button, but you have to hit the bell so you know when we'll be on here.
Wait, was that a? Wait, pick that back up.
Mike.
Nice. That's a cinder block. I like it.
We're approaching 50,000 subscribers, man, in 2 years. So it's working.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. That's awesome, man.
Make sure you hit the bell and like the content. Share this with other investors that you think might want to get that discount and get some. Oh, I got to put the link back up here. The link is in the video description.
2 years, 50,000 subscribers. That's really good.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that another day. I had like 3 back in 2017, 3,000.
Yeah, Fund and Grow. We don't have a very big YouTube channel, but we've got, we got followers in other places. We just didn't put much time in on the YouTube side, but you must have put some time in.
We did, my friend. We did. And I get to meet people like you. It's amazing. I get to meet I'm rubbing elbows with people all around the world. It's truly amazing. And giving value, Mike. I mean, where else are you going to get this value at,
Fun. You're probably loving it.
We are. We're having a good time. Okay, Roundup. I'll see you next time. Don't forget Wednesday. Oh, I got some treats for you, Roundup family. We're going to be going to North Carolina next week with Eddie. Don't miss us Wednesday at 1 o'clock. I'll see you Wednesday. All right, Roundup. Peace.
Peace.